So hello, Herma. Thank you
Hi.
so much for meeting us today. I'm so glad we could catch up, especially after this strange time still going on. But at least we've come at maybe of the worst time. So for people at home watching, maybe we could know a little bit more about you, and if maybe you could sort of introduce yourself and let us know how you ended up starting in the quilting, and what do you do now as well.
Okay. Well, actually, I've been working with thread and fabric for as long as I can remember. Even when I was a little girl, it was something that fascinated me. And I got my first sewing machine when I was 9 years old, I think. I wanted to make myself a skirt, and my mother didn't want me on her machine, so I got a sewing machine for Christmas. So I used that a lot, and got newer, different machines when I grew older. And I've always been sewing, making clothes for myself, making clothes for my children, and I do a lot of knitting and as well, because I love that too. And at a certain point, I went to live in Italy with my husband, and I knitted a whole load of sweaters for the whole family. So that at a certain point, they said, listen, we've got enough, find something else to do. So then I thought, well, I could start doing patchwork, because it takes a long time, and I'll have before I finish one, I've plenty to do, and not have to worry about making too many of them. So then I patchwork, but very soon I found myself getting a little bit bored. See, that's the cat coming to visit.
We've got the extra guest.
I found myself getting a little bit bored following other people's patterns. So I looked around to see if there were any courses I could do on the internet, because I was still living in Italy in a small village, and there wasn't really anything around there that I could go to courses. And I found the Design Matters team. They do these. They used to do these lovely City and Guilds courses. So I joined that and did 2 courses with them, and I just went on and on from there. And I started teaching myself. I worked for Wonderful Specialty Threads for a couple of years and learned an enormous lot about threads. And well, that's just, now I'm here, stitching away.
Yeah, so kind of a professional career then in patchwork for quite a long time now.
Yes, actually, yeah.
So do you sort of do workshops and teaching in sort of colleges or the equivalent, or more in
no, mostly I teach in shops, in quilt shops, and I also teach at the Festival of Quilts, which obviously this year, unfortunately, has been cancelled, although they've got a great virtual one going on that will start on the 30th of July. So I'm looking forward to being part of that.
Oh, okay.
And yes, I'm in there somewhere. Look for me. And so yes, that's a shame, because I always enjoy going to the Festival of Quilts. And
yes, and that's how we met last year, face to face.
Exactly. Yeah,
it was a pleasure as well. And as you said, obviously the Festival of Quilts in Birmingham sort of cancelled, like many other shows. And
unfortunately, yes.
We normally, obviously, we were looking forward to 2 tours in the Netherlands with the April Dutch Quilt Tour and the Festival of Quilts in North Groningen. So we've got thankfully we've got next year to catch up on that. And but just for the viewers, maybe can you sort of let us know what are those 2 shows, and they are incredible and very special, and obviously it's in your home country. So you know, so
yes, that makes it easy.
and the area and how it, you know, it makes it so special to go there. So maybe we could start with the Nord-Groningen one that we missed in June, and you know, if you can let us sort of describe the show and the area for us.
Okay, so the festival in Groningen is really nice because it's not in one big hall or a congressional center or anything. It's placed in all the little villages above the city of Groningen, and the exhibitions are in churches and windmills. So you go from one place to another, and there's something special in every village. Sometimes even 2 exhibitions. There's something for everyone. There's traditional quilts, more modern quilts, contemporary. So so that's, from a quilter's point of view, that's great. There's a nice shopping mall where you can go and spend your money when you've been inspired by all the beautiful things you've seen. And the other thing I really like about it, it's not just the quilts, but it's the churches and the buildings that you see, and the villages. They're really nice, they're cute villages, you know, with cobblestones and flowers and small houses. So there's lots of things you can take pictures of, which for us quilters is very important because we get inspired by everything we see. So it's really nice from that point of view. And it also, because you're traveling from one place to the next one, it also gives you some time, you know, to think about and talk about what you've seen in the place you've been before you get to the place you're going to. So you have some time to digest everything. So it's really a wonderful show,
and meet other people at the same time. By the time you travel to one place to another, sort of exchange ideas and experiences and
so that's it's and you know, there's lots of that's the other nice thing. Obviously, it's because it's in all these villages, you have all the volunteers from the villages helping out, so it's important to them as well. So everybody's trying to make it a big success. And I've been, I think 3-4 times already, and it's really enjoyable.
And do you exhibit there, or do you?
No, so far I haven't, but who knows.
So what was your highlight usually? I mean, as you've been a few times there, what was usually the highlight as well of the tour?
Well, it depends obviously on the artists that are exhibiting, but there's always at least a couple that you know that really speak to you. So yes, I've really fond memories of the shows I've seen, and I was really looking forward to this year's because I'd seen the list of people who were going to be exhibiting, and there were some really special things that I really wanted to see. So I hope next year they will be there, and then we'll be able to go and see them, because it was such a shame that we didn't go ahead.
Yes, and it's a lovely time of the year as well in June. So like you said, you know, you can
flowers,
see all the areas with the flowers and sort of special landscapes, and so it's the 10th to the 13th of June next year with a tour. And you said about the shopping. Is there quite a lot of sort of local kind of shops that come to sell?
Well, obviously the shops that are up north are the ones you can certainly expect there, but there's shops from all over the Netherlands that do go to this show. So there's you know, a bit of everything that you can expect there, from modern to more traditional and everything in between. So and it's, you know, it's Groningen, the city where the hotel is, where your guests will be staying, is a fantastic city. That's really great to walk through as well, even if, you know, in the evening, if you're not too tired from everything you've been doing all day long. It's great because there's all these little restaurants and cafes, and there's always something going on in Groningen. So it's really
very good atmosphere.
Yeah.
And obviously you're doing a workshop as well for us.
Yes, I am.
So what people can expect? What sort of setting is it, and what sort of workshop are you sort of doing?
We were talking about, when we were talking about this tour, about traditional Dutch fabrics and things like that. And that made me immediately think about Staphorst, which is a village, well, about halfway between where I live and Groningen, where they still wear the traditional clothing on a day-to-day basis. Obviously not everybody, but there are people who still wear it. And so I went for a visit there to a shop where they sell the fabrics that they use. And my eye fell on this one. I just have to show you. So this fabric,
lovely.
and it's,
Lovely.
I don't know if you can see it, but it's actually hand painted. So all these little dots
really?
have been put on there. They've got a technique with nails that they actually put all these dots on the fabric. So I just couldn't resist it.
It's
and
lovely,
I took
lovely
it home.
colors.
Yeah, that too. And I thought, I want to do something with this, but because of the paint and everything, it's quite thick and stiff. So in the end, it's become the inspiration for what we're going to do, because if you can use this as an inspiration for embroidery. So I've done an embroidery on a little notebook, which is more or less mimics the painting on the fabric. So that's what we'll be doing at the workshop, and everybody can take home its own little notebook with memories of the tour to Groningen.
That's lovely, really lovely, and it's nice to have the inspiration from something local and proper.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's great. And so, how would this show compares with the one in the spring? And I can't even pronounce the
Rijswijk.
the place.
Patchwork and Quilt Days in Rijswijk. Yes.
Rijswijk.
Well, that show is a show that is in one big hall. It's actually in the bread factory that used to be a bakery, but now it's a convention center. So you'll find everything concentrated in one space. So it's a show that you can do in a day. Obviously, you can spend 3 days there as well. It's never a problem. But you can actually see all the quilts and do the shopping in one day, which is good because that's what you've got for your tour.
Yes.
Again, what I like is that there's something for everyone. So, you know, traditional quilters will find quilts that they like, and more modern quilters will find things that they like. There'll be demonstrations. There are workshops as well, but for your guests, it will probably not have enough time to do a workshop and see the show, but they do workshops. And there are a couple of I think, special shops there as well that I really like. And I think you're going to be doing a little feature on them. So they'll be showing up on your website sooner or later. But yeah, I think those are really fun because these shops don't go to the UK. Well, that's not quite true. One of them did come to the UK with me once to do a demo, and she was very popular then. So I hope that that seeing her again, that will stimulate people to come on the tour or buy her things.
Yes, yes. Well, we quite as well flexible on we can arrange sort of different departure dates, and so if in case people wanted to stay a little bit longer to fit in some workshops, they could.
Oh, that'd be lovely.
Always look at it, yes. So that's great, you know, to have that flexibility. And is there sort of highlight again when you know you would sort of pinpoint every time you go to this one?
Yes, well, there are always things that you know that you remember. That I remember one lady who did things with well, I'm a thread person, you know, because I love thread. And this lady did some really special things just with thread. So I remember, I can't remember her name, but I remember seeing that there, and I really like that. But there are some really beautiful traditional collections as well. So I don't know what will be on in April yet, because they haven't published anything on that yet. But I'm sure it'll be worthwhile going to see it.
And you've got again shopping opportunities as well there.
Yes, lots of shopping again. So you can buy everything you need to make your own beautiful quilt.
Oh,
and of
good.
course, with the hotel in Delft, in the historical center of Delft, photo opportunities all over the place, because that's such a beautiful city as well.
And this during this tour they visit as well Coconut Gardens, so they've got the
yes
in the right season, and
yeah,
all the fields of tulips, and that's a spectacle in itself as well, and very inspiring as well, I'm sure, for sort of quilting projects to follow.
Okay, you froze for a bit.
Yes. So I was saying that it's great that they can go to the Coconut Gardens as well on this one, and as a spectacle in itself.
It's beautiful.
Very inspiring again for future projects, between the colors, the flowers, the landscapes, and so I'm sure that sort of sticks to many minds for inspiration for the people's work. And they'll have obviously the opportunity to see you again, not for a workshop, but just to have a chat at the hotel, and sort of ask questions and share experiences, and which is great. And so obviously, as we've said, many things have been cancelled during this lockdown. So how have you been keeping busy, and not having all those shows? And have you sort of been non-stop every day sewing?
Well, in the beginning, it was a bit strange, because on the one hand, all of a sudden you have all this time. When I'm at shows, people always say, "Oh, where can I buy time? I need more time." And then all of a sudden you have all this time, and you don't know what to do with it. And I thought that was me, but I've talked to other quilters, and everybody, a lot of people are saying the same thing. It's like you've kind of lost you don't know what. It's yes. So that was, in the beginning, that was a bit strange, but I started by moving my sewing machine into the living room, because then nobody was coming to visit anyway, so no problem, I can just put it in the living room. And my whole table was filled with pieces of fabric and things. And but I was still a bit at a loose end, not really knowing how to get started. So I came across a Facebook group called Stitch Meditations, which was started by Liz Kettle, and she does a really good video explaining how she does her stitch meditations. And I thought, well, that's something I can do, a short bit of stitching every day, just so that at least I do that. If I don't do anything else, at least I'll have done that. So, and she's got really good advice about making sure you've got all your stuff set out so that you don't have to go looking for your scissors and your needles and your thread and everything. So I have my tray with my thread and fabric and what I need to do that. And I started doing that. So you do the first one and you do the second one. And I was just I've got them over here. So I think this was my first one. See? That was my first one. So, okay, yes. I did that one, and I did another one, and I did another one. And then when I'd finished day 5, while I was putting my things away, there was this big red button, and it said, "Tomorrow, use me." So when, you know, when a big red button talks to you, then you listen. So the next day I made this one, and I called it Going Round in Circles. And I really, and that's what, you know, I really enjoyed making it. Yeah, so I thought, why not make another one? So I did, made another one.
Number 2.
And another one. And another one.
So how many have you got now?
Today I made number 88.
Oh, wow.
So yes, it's kind of snowballed into something much bigger.
I know, yeah, because it has gone crazy on social media.
It has, yes, because I was just making them for myself, but people really liked them, and you know, got really nice comments, which obviously stimulates you to keep going, and even people said things like, oh, I look out for them every day. At least one thing in this crazy world that we've got, I know you're going to be showing us your Going Round in Circles blog. So it was really, really special. But I got lots of questions as well about how I make them. And I, you know, spent lots of time answering and telling them, oh, I do this, I do that. And I thought, you know, it just makes more sense if I make a tutorial so that people can watch that. And then if they still have questions, they can ask me, but at least, you know, the basis will be. So that's why I did my first Going Round in Circles tutorial, which you've got on your YouTube channel.
So we've got it on our Facebook, and obviously people can find it on yours, and we've got it on YouTube as well.
Exactly. So I did that one, and then, you know, people started asking me, but how do you pick your fabric? So I made another one showing them how I, you know, go about choosing and putting fabric together to make my pieces. And then somebody said, but how do you finish them? Well, I hadn't really thought about that, because for me it was all about, you know, making these. I was thinking about what I might one day do with them, but it wasn't really what I was focused on at that moment. But okay, so how can you finish them? So then I made this one, which is actually finished. It's got, you know, it's got an edge, and it's got, because I don't do, see, my pieces are without backing. But this one's got backing, so this one is nicely finished, and I think it would look great as a brooch or something like that. You know, you can wear art.
Yeah, so it doesn't have to be a big piece putting it.
No, it doesn't. It can just be one little piece. And so then I made a little video showing how I do that. And then somebody said, oh, it would be so nice if there was a small project that I could make with this. And I thought, okay, small project. And I saw on Facebook again in that group, somebody else had made some lovely needle books. And, you know, I've never made a needle book in my life. This is the absolute first time. But I thought, well, you know, needle book's a nice little project. So I made a needle book.
Oh, that's fun.
And then they said, but could you do a tutorial on this one as well? So yes, we now also have the tutorial for the needle book. So yeah, so that's what I've gotten so far with my tutorials. So yeah.
So on top of new projects, you've become a Facebook or social media influencer.
Yes. Yeah, it's, you know, it's crazy, but on the other hand, I so enjoy it, seeing people, you know, that they're so happy to make these things, to see them, and I enjoy helping. I'm a teacher. I can't help myself, so
yes.
I like teaching people how to do things and showing them how I do that.
And that's great, obviously, with having this interaction. And I've seen someone commenting, I think in Spanish, or so you've sort of, yeah, as well, having all corners of the world. So
yes, that's gone all over
really
the world.
Great.
It's great. Yes, I have people. I have a lady from Chile who asks me about thread, and somebody from Los Angeles who's asking me about things, and no, it's really, it's fabulous.
That's really amazing. Yes, and especially in this climate, like you said, it's just so nice to bring a community together again,
Yeah.
Through a new sort of group and with
Yeah.
new projects, and I assume that kind of fits all level as well.
Yes, it does, because it doesn't matter. I mean, you can, if you've never done a lot before, you can do this, and if you're an experienced sewer, it's or quilter, it's great too. It's just lovely to sit and stitch.
Yes.
And make something beautiful, and it's
see something
small
at the
pieces.
end.
So you finish them. Yeah, I mean, it never takes more than an hour to make one. So it's
Yes.
something you can actually
achieve
do.
And yes.
And you don't need a lot of material. So even if it's not, if you don't like it at the end, which I don't think ever happens, but if you don't, you won't have wasted a lot of material, because that's
Yes.
always the risk if you start making a quilt.
Yes.
You spend so much money because you need so much fabric, so much everything. And these are small pieces, so.
Oh, that's really great. Yes, it's lovely to see on your Facebook all the.
Yeah, and I started a group now so that people can actually join in and see what everybody else is doing, because there were some people doing this in the Stitch Meditation group, and then some people were following me on my other Facebook page, and they were starting to do it. And then it was all over the place, and so I started the group, and when I see somebody doing it, I invite them, and I ask them, would you like to join? And of course people find us and want to join because they like what they're seeing. But yeah, it's great.
Oh, that's perfect. And so is there sort of new projects in the horizon when we go back to normal? What was your next sort of next project in the diary, or something that was maybe put off and you just put it back at the moment?
Well, obviously it would be great if we can go back to the shows, because I really miss the interaction with people and live, not just with through Facebook or Instagram, but really talking to people, and that same goes for workshops. It would be great if we can go back to the workshops. But well, we just have to wait and see. And for now, I'm going around in circles and really enjoying that. So
yes.
I think I'm going to keep going for a while, because it's actually gotten to the point where if I don't do it, I don't feel comfortable. I need to do.
Yes.
I need to do my little piece in the morning.
It's become your routine.
Yes, I do have to do that. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. That's great. Well, it's been really lovely catching up, and I don't know if you had any other mention or that maybe we didn't cover.
No, I think we've talked about just about everything. Well, we can go on talking, but
but we obviously looking forward to having you again for 2021 in April.
Yes.
14th of April for the spring tour, and 10th to the 13th of June for the Nordgroningen.
Yeah, that would be great.
I'm not pronouncing very well.
Don't worry.
It's my French accent. But yeah, we're really looking forward to having you with us again, and I'm sure it will go very quick. But in the meantime, thank you so much for catching up on Zoom. At least it's so better than nothing. And it was great to discover the two tools from you as a quilter and as someone who's obviously been there for many times, and being from the area. But we wish you all the best with all with the run the circles, Craig.
Yes, thank you.
And we keep in touch, and we'll make sure we carry on posting some of your tutorials as well, because it's
that'd be lovely
on our site. So
the more the merrier. Everybody
exactly.
can share them.
Exactly. Thank you so much, and have a lovely end of week.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Krista.
Emma.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Emma. Bye-bye.